Hello viewers, welcome to SDELFT campus and our online courses. Today's class is specifically designed for the students of phonetics from different universities, both from regular and distance courses. Not only those students, but the students aspiring for PGT and UGC NET and JRF must study this lecture attentively. Today's lecture is about organs of speech and sound production. So learners, please like, share and subscribe our channel and obviously ring the bell icon to have our coming uploads. Dear students, phonetics is the science of speech. We all speak, but how many of us know how to speak or how we speak or what speech is like? Phonetics seeks to answer those questions. Friends, always remember, sound is produced when air is set in motion. The speech production mechanism consists of an air supply provided by the lungs. A sound source that sets the air in motion is always specifically relevant to speech production. The larynx, where a set of muscles called the vocal folds or vocal cords are located. A set of filters that modifies the sound in various ways. The organs above the larynx, the pharynx, the tube of the throat between the oral cavity and the larynx. It actually contributes its role in sound production. Not only that, the oral cavity as well as the nasal cavity, they actually contribute their part for sound productions. And then we have the major sound productive organs, major organs of speech. And the list starts with the lungs. In order to produce the majority of sounds in the world's language, air is taken into the lungs and expelled during speech. A small number of sounds are made with air as it flows into the vocal tract. A certain level of air pressure is needed to keep the speech mechanism functioning steadily, which is maintained by the action of various sets of muscles. And the involved muscles are the intercostals, the muscles between the ribs, the diaphragm, the large sheet of muscles that separates the chest cavity from the abdomen. Now, the next major functional involvement we observe during sound production is of the larynx and the vocal folds. The larynx is colloquially known as the voice box. It is a box-like small structure situated in the front of the throat, where there is a protuberance. For this reason, the larynx is probably called the Adam's apple. This casting is formed of cartilages and muscles. It protects as well as houses the trachea, also known as windpipe, esophagus or esophagus, and the vocal folds. Formerly, they were called vocal cords. The vocal folds are like a pair of lips placed horizontally from front to back. They are joined in the front but can be separated at the back. The opening between them is called the glottis. The glottis is considered to be in open state when the folds are apart, and when the folds are pressed together, the glottis is considered to be in closed state. The opening of the vocal folds takes different positions. Number one, wide apart. When the folds are wide apart, they do not vibrate. The sounds produced in such position are called breathed or voiceless sounds. Through the glottis, when it is narrowed, then there is an audible friction. Such sounds are also voiceless since the vocal folds do not vibrate. The vocal folds can be firmly pressed together so that the air cannot pass between them. Such a position produced a glottal stop. Touched or nearly touched position, the major role of the vocal folds is that of a vibrator in the production of speech. The folds vibrate when these two are touching each other or nearly touching. The pressure of the air coming from the lungs makes them vibrate. This vibration of the folds produces a musical note called the voice. And sounds produced in such manner are called voice sounds. In English, all the vowel sounds and the consonants v, z, m, n are voiced. Thus, it is clear that the main function of the vocal folds is to convert the air delivered by the lungs into audible sound. The opening and closing process of the vocal folds manipulates the airflow to control the pitch and the tone of speech sounds. As a result, we have different qualities of sounds. Dear viewers, the pharynx is a tube which begins just above the larynx. It is about 7 centimeter long in women and about 8 centimeter in men. And at its top end, it is divided into two, one part being the back of the mouth and the other being the beginning of the way through the nasal cavity. If you look in your mirror with your mouth open, you can see the back of the pharynx. The velum or soft palate is seen in the diagram in a position that allows air to pass through the nose and through the mouth. Yours is probably in that position now, but often in speech it is raised so that air cannot escape through the nose. The other important thing about the velum is that it is one of the articulators that can be touched by the tongue. When we make the sounds like k and g, the tongue is in contact with the lower side of the velum, and we call these velar consonants. The hard palate is often called the roof of the mouth. You can feel its smooth, curved surface with your tongue. The alveolar ridge is between the top front teeth and the hard palate. You can feel its shape with your tongue. Its surface is really much rougher than it feels and is covered with little ridges. You can only see these if you have a mirror small enough to go inside your mouth, such as those used by the dentists. Sounds made with the tongue touching here, such as d, d, are called alveolar. Dear viewers, the tongue is of course a very important articulator, and it can be moved into many different places and different shapes. It is usual to divide the tongue into different parts, though there are no clear dividing lines within the tongue. The above figure shows the tongue on a larger scale with these parts shown: tip, blade, front, back, and root. This use of the word front often seems rather strange at first. The teeth, upper and lower, are usually shown in diagrams only at the front of the mouth, immediately behind the lips. This is for the sake of a simple diagram, and you should remember that most speakers have teeth to the sides of their mouths, back, almost to the soft palate. The tongue is the tongue is in contact with the upper side teeth for many speech sounds. Sounds made with the tongue touching the front teeth are called dental. The lips are important in speech, dear students. They can be pressed together when we produce the sounds b, b, brought into contact with the teeth, v, or rounded to produce the lip shape for vowels like oo. Sounds in which the lips are in contact with each other are called bilabial, while those with lip to teeth contact are called labiodental. So viewers, the seven articulators described above are the main ones used in speech. But there are three other things to remember. Firstly, the larynx could also be described as an articulator, a very complex and independent one. Secondly, the jaws are sometimes called articulators. Certainly, we move the lower jaw a lot in speaking. But the jaws are not articulators in the same way as the others because they cannot themselves make contact with other articulators. Finally, although there is practically nothing that we can do with the nose and the nasal cavity, they are a very important part of our equipment for making sounds. What is sometimes called our vocal apparatus, particularly nasal consonants. We cannot really describe the nose and the nasal cavity as articulators in the same sense as do these organs already discussed above. Thank you, viewers. Please like, share and subscribe our channel and ring the notification bell to have the lectures just like this one you experienced today. Thank you. Good night.